changes around us every day. So how do you manage the changes that happen in mining year round? Welcome to another episode of Change Itself, hosted by Gus Miner and Eric Demers. The show is brought to you by Sophie and Technica Mining and is produced by Crownsman Partners. Now, here are your hosts, Gus and Eric.
All right, welcome everybody. Episode 8. I'm going to change it up today. I'll start things off. Remember, click like, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever, comments. Looking forward to hearing about them. Gus, what's going on?
Oh, it's been a heck of a month. It's been a fun December.
Getting ready for Christmas, the holidays.
Getting ready for the holidays. Kicked COVID to the curb over the past few weeks, so that's been fun. And really excited about our last episode of the year.
Right on. Are we doing a year in review? What are we up to?
No, I think today we're going to talk a lot about safety tech. You know, we've had a lot of great conversation with a lot of great leaders over the past several months. And we've encountered and seen a lot of great things for 2021. And our guest today, Larry from Komodo Tech, will be able to shed some light on what he's experienced over this year. As well as what we can, focus on for 2022 and what are the groundbreaking things that we can introduce in the workplace in 2022 to really change the game.
Right on. Excited to hear about that. And I gotta say, I think one of the things that kicked the year off for me was listening to Larry and a coworker talking about HRV. So, really educated me. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, right on. So on that note, we'll bring him in. Larry.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Hello, guys. Hello, everybody who's watching. I would rephrase Gus and say it was a heck of a year because I wasn't a part of the previous episode. So it was a heck of a year for, I think, everybody based on that pandemic stuff and reevaluating how the office operates, how to improve, how to make management of remote stuff more efficient. And actually, that's the good part. It's really good part. Because I think the environment is changing. And speaking of HRV, we actually did a little experiment. We tracked HRV of our employees while they were working in office at location, right? And we did the same when they working remotely. And it's actually pretty interesting numbers there. In most cases, the HRV is increased while they're working at home. Probably the environment and internal clock, because they can have food whenever they want to. They're not tied to the office, whatever, 12:30, 12:01 or 11:30. 12, particularly they just do, and actually HRV is getting better.
So don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Larry. Just for the listeners, like I know what HRV is after watching that video you had, but what is HRV and is high good or bad?
High is good, low is bad. That's pretty simple. Now it's the HRV. It's major indicator of how our body operates in short terms. It's in details. It's how our heart reacts on environment, including food, including everything. So how our heart reacts, because not actually heart, brain probably, because brain command to the heart on a heartbeat, how many heartbeats it should do to supply all oxygen and minerals to our body. So it's actually, that's basically what it is. Now, higher HRV is better, lower HRV is not good. It's not good.
And what does HRV stand for, Larry?
HRV stands for heart rate variability. The actual term speaks for itself. It means we have a heartbeat, right? Let's say 60 per minute, every second. But there is a difference in time between the heartbeats that measures not in seconds, in milliseconds. So higher that interval between the heartbeats in milliseconds, that's higher HRV, which is better. So the brain says, when you in recovery mode, let's say you did some physical activity, right, or actually food intake as well, your body inside starts to work. In case of the first one, it starts recovery. So there is too many signals to brain from all different parts of our body requiring recovery. Okay, like oxygen is number one. And when the brain sees too many requests for recovery, it makes heartbeat like stable, with almost no variability in the heartbeat, in the time between the heartbeat. So that's a low HRV. So recovery mode, it's low HRV. When it starts to get back to normal, let's say some muscle, okay, says, okay, I had enough oxygen, I'm recovered, I'm fine. The less signals goes to the brain analyzes the data and tells to heart, it saves heart actually, tells to heart, okay, you know what, you can just don't work too much right now. That guy doesn't need it, this one too, so just make it easy. And that's when the recoveries actually start to, like, the human being starts to recover, the HRV goes up. Same with the food intake intensifies the body inside, the process. It starts to deliver all minerals, it's digestion, it's like lots of stuff involved, and the HRV drops. When it's comes to like digestion and all that stuff comes to the end, HRV goes up. And it's actually depending on what kind of even food you take. If you took some food is not good for you, I'm not going to name food that bad for you, because hamburger for me might be awesome, for you not that much, so we have, like, every human being have a different reaction on anything. So that's basically what we're trying to, we're all different, absolutely all different. So that's why we actually exist. Can you imagine we're all the same? It's not exciting.
Right. So I guess the HRV is almost like the Hemi engines and how it goes from 4 cylinders to 8 cylinders when it requires the power or not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Something like that. HRV, you know what? For simplicity, you can say the HRV is like check engine light. So when you see the check engine in your car, what it means, something is wrong. Now, by measuring and seeing the number, HRV number, we cannot tell you what is wrong, why your HRV is low. We can't. It's impossible. It just gives you, but something is wrong. So the rest is in the hands of your doctor. So we're not diagnosing you. We're just telling you, so something is not right. So you have to check yourself or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
So Larry, then I guess what Komodo Tech brings, I don't think we've touched on it, but you guys have a sensor basically that allows us to wear a device that will basically give us a check engine light. Is that kind of in really simple terms?
In really simple terms, yes. And one little different that differentiates us from any other HRV measurement, that our HRV based on electrocardiogram. And most of the HRVs on the market now, the devices that gives you the HRV number based on optical sensor. And as far as we're speaking here in milliseconds difference between heartbeats, we need to have that precision to be able to get out that timing. And HRV, let's say it's 400 samples per second. 400 samples per second, and optical sensor gives you maximum, I think, 80 samples per second. It's maximum. It's most advanced optical devices. So consider the difference. So what samples per second will give you better results based on milliseconds measurement. So that's obvious.
So ECG is the way to go.
ECG is the way to go for HRV. It's the only way to go. No BP, no optical, no that blinking lights on the back of your, it's not there. it's not going to give you that precisionness.
Right on. So being that Komodo Tech is in the hardware business and creating some waves with some new tech that's coming up, what's crossed your radar in 2021 that really had you raise an eyebrow or really piqued your curiosity?
In 2021, yes, we basically that stuff what I mentioned at the beginning. So the checking out how the office and home environment affects people, you know, what's the difference, where we can get better productivity, because the major part in any company is productivity, where we can get a better productivity while they're on remote or in the office. And it's controversial based on, you know, based on deliveries, maybe in 50% of the cases, based on deliveries, let's say coders, programmers, etc., maybe the office environment is better because there is some pressure exists when you in the office, and you kind of more relaxed at home. But for HRV, for the same reason, actually, you're more relaxed, your HRV is better. For the health of the employees, workers, people, of course the home environment is better. Of course, it's no doubt. But you have to find the golden middle. So maybe split a week, okay? 3 days, 2 days, 3 days in the office, 2 days at home, or vice versa, 2 days in the office, 3 days at home, something like that. So we actually, by that stuff, we kill a lot of birds in one stone, actually.
Right.
First of all, we take care of environment. People doesn't drive. Some of my guys driving like hour and a half to get to the office. Can you imagine how much gas and CO2 their vehicle produce and all that stuff? Less spending. We can share the desk inside, so less spending on rental. People happy, more like happier than 5 days a week in the office, you know. So we're just trying to make that golden middle that will satisfy, first of all, of course, me as a company owner, right? For deliveries, the people we pay money, it doesn't matter where they are working. So we have to get result for what we pay, and the result should satisfy us as well. So that's kind of, so that's the basically year. Okay, so it's speaking of our production and all that stuff. Now I don't know what the next year will bring us, guys. I really don't want. It's hard to predict anything, because some stuff coming up that you don't even have an explanation for where it came from.
Right.
Shortage of truck drivers in the market of the United States. Where it came from? Why the people doesn't want to drive anymore? I don't think they basically self-employers, I think, and I don't think the government helps them with money too much. So it's not the reason. So why people doesn't want to work? How they live? Where they get the income? I don't know. I don't know the explanation. So that's that's speaking of 22. I really, it's really. Nobody can even tell now. With Omicron came, yes, it's more infectious, right? But it's less dangerous to the people. And every 2 months we will see a new virus. So hard to say.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting, because I mean, I do quite a bit of research on new technologies and new things that I can leverage and new things that I can entertain for the future. And, you know, I think that between 2020 and 2021, there's been a lot of great breakthroughs. as far as like, like exoskeletons, a lot more advancement in drone technology, a lot more advancement in video technology, right? As far as understanding what's happening from an AI perspective, what's happening with the human being at work or the equipment at work, so that we can do the analysis there.
Yep.
But to your point, the interesting part is that all these technologies have started. Like I don't know if we can predict that there's going to be any new breakthrough technologies coming out in 2022. But my hopes is that we can, crest over this problem with the shortage of workforce and deliver those ideas, right? It seems like right now we're in a very interesting time in technology production where a lot of great ideas have come to light over the past few years. And now it's the R&D stages are probably getting close to complete. And now it's going to be, applying those new technologies directly in the workplace, directly in society. So, I mean, from what I see so far, there's going to be a lot of trial and error in 2022 with trying out a lot of these new technologies. And at the same time, it's going to be fun to see how the procurement process is going to be on these technologies with all these shortage of chipsets and shortage of hardware and equipment and the labor to put it together. So I echo that statement, Larry, that it's going to be difficult to predict what we can expect in 2022, other than hopefully being able to supply the demand.
I think the really interesting part will be, like, we're trying to predict what like impacts it might have, is like, how's that actually going to impact the use of technology, what's out there, what's starting to take shape. Like, can we put some of these solutions to resolve some of these problems and issues we're seeing? Like, that's what I'm really excited for. We were talking yesterday, Gus, or it was Monday, about AI, and like, okay, we have this grandiose idea of what that looks like in the future in our minds, but there are baby steps to get there. Is there some of that stuff that's going to start to work to get us there? Like, what are the small steps we're taking today and throughout this year that we're taking because we're having issues with supply chain management, whether it's chips or, wood, windows, like consumables, like whatever it is. How are we leveraging this technology to help us improve and to, work at things like climate change and other social issues that are out there?
Absolutely. Speaking of, Gus said, shortage of staff and etc. Maybe in some point it's good, so we can utilize less staff more efficiently.
Yeah,
right.
More productive. Taking into consideration our technology, you can actually now, including AI, let's say you have a data on 10 employees that's working for you, okay, and they all doing the HRV, etc., that biometric, okay, and artificial intelligence analyzes the data, so you can actually manage those 10 people at the peak of efficiency. They can make it productive with that data analyzing by AI. Is the same productive as, let's say, 20 people. Well, just for example, I'm not
Right.
Don't catch me for numbers, but okay, 15 of easy. You just can see the AI spits you the number at the beginning of each day or something like that, and you just pick the people who's more capable of doing something at this particular point, and there you go. It's like a little example. We have our trial in special operation forces, right? The point is using it there. Let's say platoon 10 guys, okay, just for example, and there is a special operation coming next day, and the commander sees the numbers. So the statistics says, like, that special operation will kill one. It's just statistically, right? So one will not gonna come back out of 10, but you can send 9 actually to that operation. It's not necessarily all 10. Now, who you pick to stay? if you have HRV numbers, okay, so let's say morning readiness, and that guy has a very low HRV, what's the point to send him? Okay, leave him. Maybe you're saving a life.
Every worker deserves to go home safely at the end of the day. Book a demo with Sophie to discover how their groundbreaking EHS management software empowers workers to proactively avoid hazards and how organizations like yours can cultivate a stronger work culture. You can learn more at sophie.com. Technica Mining is a premier underground mining and construction contractor. They stand for delivering quality project work on time and on budget through innovative thinking. Their excellent safety record, experienced workforce, and large equipment fleet will guarantee the timely completion of all your project needs. Trusted by the world's leading mining companies, Technica Mining has over 20 years of experience in mine construction, development, and production. Contact Technica Mining to take your next mining project to the next level. Learn more at technicamining.com. Change Itself is produced by Crownsman, the voice of industry. Check out more, including The Crownsman Show, Mining Now, Crownsman Energy, and Crownsman Ag at crownsman.com.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Larry, we're seeing like the convergence of this in the workplace now through some really interesting stuff. And one of the things maybe to touch on technology from this year and where we're going into next year and some convergence. I was contacted by someone from the University of Ottawa that I've been working closely with and talking about heat stress and heat management. And they're conducting a survey to get an understanding of where like people are in the mining industry across Canada, I actually think North America, as far as the attitudes and beliefs behind heat management, because ultimately we've been managing it from some old, I don't even know where it comes from, way of doing it with like heat rest regime. And to your point earlier, if everybody's different, well, is that right for everybody? And if we start talking about is that the right person to send to work today? Are they fit? Do they have that right number? Right. So I see this convergence where we're going to start to like shift some of the knowledge, and we're going to start focusing on, the individuality of the person and being fit for work and caring for people, getting better health, and the effects that's going to have on, the person themselves, their personal life, the environmental, like the whole thing. And that's where like some of the stuff we talk about, HRV and wearable technology, starts to come into play. And for us, I think in the mining industry over the next year, maybe even Technica in particular, that's kind of where I see us near the end of, if I'm at the end of 2022, looking back, as we're started that journey and we're like, making better decisions based off person's optimal health.
Absolutely. And it comes to the simple words like work smarter, not harder, right? So maybe the staff shortage and using it more efficiently doesn't mean to intensify their work, doesn't mean to make them work harder. It's actually vice versa. Maybe that day you can deliver 150% and not even notice that, because your internal state is perfect that day. And you deliver 150% that day, okay, and you're going home, you don't feel actually tired. I mean, in basic terms, right?
Yeah.
So utilizing, because the human being is very complicated machine. It's most complicated. Now our brain works probably 4% at best, right, of its capacity. So why we can probably, based on that scientific approach to manage the workforce, you will get a better result, and it's going to be better even for people. Even for people, I would say somebody can tell, oh, you know what, you're trying to kill us with overworking and stuff. No, it's actually vice versa. And especially if you take into consideration that truck drivers just
well, we're starting those conversations now in the like here in the office yesterday. We're having like trying to figure out, like, do we have data we're already collecting that might be an indicator of things that might affect a person's well-being and HRV and like the stresses under which people are or feel that they are, and what the impacts of that is on, safety, performance, and the overall performance, to your point, Larry, on production and productivity. Like it's one and the same. And so how do we influence that? And it's probably actually on the health and well-being and the care side of things more than it is in some of the prevention activities. That, not to say that they're not important, they're definitely important. However, there's this whole untapped side of things that we haven't gone to yet. And it's called taking care of yourself and being fit and optimal for work. And that'll really, I think that's the next maybe logical step for us in with the workforce, myself included, in how to get more and better out of myself.
Guys, can you answer me one question?
Sure.
You are a specialist in minds and all that stuff, more experts, okay? Let's say, tell me one thing, why the mind is equipped with thousands of sensors, taking the CO2 level, the methane level, temperature, like oxygen level, everything. Now, do you have one sensor on the person who works in that environment? One, name me one. That's it. That's the point. We can take care of the environment perfectly. The technology is there. We can put sensors and whatever, like on every meter, cameras and stuff. But what do we do for the person itself? How do we know how it feels? How that high oxygen or whatever, low oxygen, and how it affects, we know medically, right? But not in every point of time. Because environment down there changes hourly, probably.
But I think we missed the variability, like you talked about earlier, around like the individuality. I think we try to we have this idea that either everybody's like yourself or everybody fits like a certain parameter. Everybody's like that same, the mannequin, everybody's the same.
Right.
But in reality, we're not, and we're all affected differently by different, variables, impacts, like how we interpret things. All these things are at play, and we're trying to trying to help guide people and make better decisions, better performance. And we don't actually
yeah, absolutely. It's the same.
Those individual things are doing.
Yeah,
and who's better to monitor that than yourself? Like when I wear my wristwatch with the monitor, it might not be accurate now that I'm, after this discussion, but it's helping me see where I can make better choices and how, what's actually affecting me, because whatever's affecting me might not affect Gus, might not affect yourself.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to say something. Don't
Sorry, Larry.
No, that's okay. So yeah, basically that's the point. Yeah, that's the point. So we're all different, guys. We're all now. When the dietologist or whatever say, hey, you know what, salad is good for you. Is it really for 100% of the population salad is great? Really? I don't think so, guys. I really don't.
No.
Because I did measurement. Okay, it's not obvious. Oh, hamburger is bad for you. Oh, you know what? If I work like a horse, like for the last 5 hours, and I need calories and all that stuff, the hamburger will be okay for me. And salad's not going to be okay for me because I need nutrients at this point. I need recovery. The recovery doesn't. Now, if you work hard or if you exercise in a gym room, what, you come in home and eat salad? You take protein. It's not like, oh, you know what, salad is just like, whoosh, wow, you're gonna live forever. No, it's not there.
Yeah, so I think what I'm hearing the most out of both of you now is the breakthrough that we could probably expect in 2022 is the proper selection of solutions to drive efficiency to cover the gaps that we're experiencing in today's world, right? With either the workforce shortage or shortage or the just the overall demand increase. So we're kind of stuck with a double-edged sword where there's a shortage of workforce and there's an exponential increase in demand. it doesn't really make much sense. So now I think, from what I'm hearing from you guys, the real breakthrough is tapping into technologies to find the efficiencies and to make the right decisions more regularly, to make sure that we protect and preserve the human being, while trying to achieve, the levels that are required to meet the demand. Would that be a fair assumption?
Absolutely. Let's shortly optimization without damaging the object we're working on, like human being, let's say. Optimization, like, yes, the scientific way to optimize the workforce, yeah. Because so far nothing has been done on the, okay, maybe I'm losing something, but nothing has been done in that field. There is, like, I was in China, and they have a after lunch nap. Like, everybody sleeps at the factory. It doesn't matter what factory you have. You have, like, ridiculously, let's say my CMT machines working. Okay, they just working. You cannot stop it. But somehow they stop it. Somehow they stop it and they just sleep. Or maybe they leave one guy monitoring if so everything's go well. But everybody sleeps. But maybe this day I don't need to. Now, can you just check out your smartphone, okay? See the number and say, you know what? I'm actually don't need any sleep today, so I will do better without.
Or maybe I need more today. Who knows, right?
Maybe I need more. That's it, exactly. Maybe you can talk to your coworker and say, hey, you know what? You're not going to sleep today. I can see you fine. I'll take your time. You know, instead of whatever.
We'll trade on the sleep schedule.
Yeah, what they do, like, yeah, what they do, like 30 minutes sleep. So I will sleep an hour, okay, for both of us. So I don't know, guys. So, but should be some indicator, should be some visible, you know, and scientific indicator, because this we don't feel anything inside unless it's too late, right? When we feel it's too late.
When we feel it's too late, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you know, no, we don't feel anything, but the point is that indicator exists. That's the point, and it's pretty simple to extract that HRV. It's pretty simple. I don't know why it's still in research and development, but I just don't. You know what? I don't understand why it takes so long for researchers and all that stuff. Actually, the same way as do we have a medicine against COVID? No, we don't have. There's no medicine. There is a vaccine, but there is no medicine. How long? I just listened to some whatever PhDs and all this stuff. How long will it take to create that like 2-3 years? Maybe never. Maybe even never, because we still don't have medicine against the what's his name? HIV.
Right.
Yeah. We still don't have. We have bunch of like cocktail that suppressing that illness, but we don't have medicine. And it's already, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years exists, right? So maybe never. And that indicator easy to extract. It's pretty precise. It's depending on what sample rate you take out of it, and you see the number. And it is like scientifically proven indicator of your sympathetic parasympathetic functionality of your system. That's all knows. It doesn't need the proof. It's already proven like 100 times. So I don't know why it's not there yet. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe shortage of the chips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Once they know that they need to do more with a lot less, because we have to do more with less people, and we have to do more with less consumables.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have no choice. That they're either going to get, inflation's going to kick in, things are going to get more expensive. Things get more expensive. You got a choice. You pay more, or you just don't do it, or you do less of it, or you use less of it, or you borrow, or you find some alternative. Unless you
Absolutely.
find a breakthrough in technology that's going to like basically eliminate the
Absolutely.
need for that.
Absolutely.
I don't see any other way. So I think if we echo back and loop back to 2022, I think it'll
Yeah.
force us to,
Yeah, 2022 is going to be complicated. Now, can you tell me, one of you, or whatever, why we have a shortage on chips? Is any earthquakes, any hurricanes that ruin the factories that manufacturing those chips? Nothing. Where is it all?
I
Because
don't know. I
probably,
haven't looked. I haven't looked into it at all.
yeah, because probably the number one comes to mind, that was a quarantine and factory has been closed. I don't know.
One of the
Maybe.
interesting things that I'd heard, Larry, I sat in on supply chain management, like automation conference, I don't know, a few months ago now. And they were talking about like yogurt manufacturers, and like when the pandemic hit, and they're like getting like point in time data on marketing and sales and what it wants. And right away they saw like a shift in like people didn't want this, I don't know, I'll make this up, I don't even, but it was like, we don't want low fat yogurt now, we want full fat yogurt, and we sell more with purple label rather than the blue label. So it was like, stop the production line and then switch all the labeling, come up with the like, make more of the high fat versus low fat. And so that interruption in supply chain, never mind just like the downtime and the figuring out processes, like they're retooling a line to like manufacture the packaging, the labels, all of these. And so it's not just impacting like the yogurt producer or the dairy farmer. It like goes all the way back to like the person that like supplies the cardboard for that box, because now it's got to be cut differently. And the printer's got to change because he needs a different type of ink and might need a different chip. And like all these like different things compound. And it's like, I had no idea how complex and tightly interdependent like connections lived in the supply chain. It is unreal. It was an eye opener to sit in on that.
Even the transportation, right, Eric? Like now that the package is in a different shape, you can fit more or less in the container, in the shipping container. So now you need 2 transports instead of 1 because of the shift in size. The impacts of some of the decisions that are made are like, when you start looking at the ripple effects, it's so interesting. And I think that the big push on 1, adopting technology, 2, people are becoming more and more data focused, and then 3, all the shift to decarbonize is like a perfect storm of all of these things need chips. All of these things need chips. So you can have 0 factories closed, but the demand has increased exponentially, and you just can't keep up. You know, when you think about a big company like Ford that has now pushed back their releases of their Lightning trucks because they're missing 1 chip in the dashboard, they're a big company, and you would think they would have enough power to make sure that the chips show up at their front door, and they can't even do it, right? So I think it's just like a perfect storm between more technology being adopted, people being data driven, so they're craving the sensors, and then just overall new technology being developed that needs those sensors. It's almost like a perfect storm.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, because thinking of that in details, actually interesting, because the factory, the manufacturer and the chips, right, they're not unlimited. They have limitation. They have like 2-3 lines, so there are 4, 5, 10 lines. Okay, no more. Now, if the order comes on that particular chip and the buyer ready to pay that amount of money, they redo all the lines and just run that production, because everything's based on profit. Now, to build another factory, guys, it's enormous. It's like $3-4 billion factory. The only one lithography machine that makes the discs, right, the silicon discs, $150 million. The only one machine, and the only one company that in Holland, in Netherlands, that manufacturing those machines. So scalability is very limited.
Yeah.
You cannot, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's build another 5 factories. No, it's not gonna work like that. Now, that company that makes lithography machines for the silicons, they booked for 5 years ahead, and nobody else does it on the planet Earth. So that's where we're running now. If Ford says, okay, Taiwan, okay, give me those chips, okay, I'll pay you. I paid you before 50 cents, now I pay you $50 for each one. Of course, they redo all the lines and run only Ford production. Of course, that's the money.
Yeah.
So that's how it was. Now the lumber shortage. Okay, some people losing, some people actually earning a lot. Who could do the properly manage to still produce the lumber, and the pricing went from $470 per whatever feet I don't know how they measure to $1,700. Of course, they make more money if you can manage and do the production and increase the production and all that stuff. So somebody loses, somebody makes a lot. Actually, somebody gets rich by that pandemic a lot. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just management.
It's what's so. It's what's so, right?
Yeah, it's management skills. You know, you're energetic enough to do the changes, proper changes. I mean, not the wrong decisions, proper decision. You and your team, and you just make money.
Yeah,
it's not wrong to do this stuff. You know, just organizing, yeah, optimizing stuff.
right on, Larry. Well, hey, you know, for the sake of the timelines that we've committed of your time and for the show, I thank you for joining us today. We've had some pretty intense and great conversations, as I expected we would. And just for a quick recap for our audience, 2022, dig into those efficiencies and leverage those opportunities to be bigger, faster, stronger with less, right? And maybe we can give a little bit of a segue in there as well, that in 2022, you'll probably be hearing from Sophie, Komodo Tech, and Technica with something coming up, I'm sure, right, Larry?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And probably in 2022, I will be able to come up with the real numbers that will show you that approach to the workforce and all that stuff. Yes.
Right on.
Forward to it.
Right on. So again, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us. And you know, like Eric said at the beginning, hit that like, subscribe. We've coming up with new content every month, and hope you enjoy it. This will be our last episode for 2021, which is an exciting milestone for us in our first year of production. And you'll be hearing from us again in January. So we look forward to our next conversations. And Larry, thanks again for joining in. It's always a great conversation with you.
Thank you, guys, and it was pleasure for me to talk to you about and happy holidays, guys.
Right on.
Thanks,
Same to you. And Eric, thanks for joining me again, and thanks for a great 2021. We've had 8 fantastic episodes, and what started out as an idea and a concept emerged into a pretty mainstream thing. So we're looking forward to seeing what we produce in 2022.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Gus. It's been lots of fun, from the anticipation of the first one and not knowing what we'd say to the way it's going now. It's been a blast. So let's keep it going.
Right on. Thanks a lot, everyone. And we'll catch you on the next episode next year.
Thanks for everybody watching.